You open a book you used to finish in an afternoon. You read 2 paragraphs. Your eyes move, but the meaning slips away. You check your phone. You open another tab. Just for a second. When you return, the sentence is gone. You start again. The same thing happens. That small, painful loop, the one that used to be rare and now feels normal, is the moment we want to understand. By the end of this video, you will see exactly what breaks in those minutes. You will recognize the moment attention rebuilds itself, and you will know why the cause is less about willpower and more about the environment that trains your mind. Welcome to Mini Mind Hack. Many people now find that reading for an hour, holding a complex thought, or working uninterrupted feels surprisingly difficult. In this short video, we will do 3 things. First, show what attention actually is in practical steps. Second, explain how digital environments compete for that process. Third, explain why the brain slowly adapts to the faster rhythm. When you can name the mechanism, the experience stops being mysterious. Let's begin with attention itself. When you concentrate, your mind runs a small loop. First, you have a goal. For example, understand the next paragraph. Then, attention narrows. Your brain filters out unrelated signals, so the sentence becomes clear. Finally, you get a small reward. The idea clicks, the meaning is confirmed, the next sentence follows more easily. Goal, focus, reward. Do that long enough and the loop stabilizes. The next minutes feel easier because the brain is already in the right mode. That is why a long reading session often becomes calmer after half an hour. The system has settled. Now imagine an interruption. You read a paragraph, your phone vibrates, you look, the loop breaks. Rebuilding context is not instant. You ask yourself, where was I? What was the argument? What was I thinking about? Reconstructing that thread costs time and cognitive energy. Each small interruption has a cost. The cost is small once, but cumulative over many interruptions. This is not just a theoretical point. Larry Rosen, a psychologist at California State University who studies technology and attention, has observed students and office workers who switch tasks and check devices every few minutes. His findings are simple and practical. Frequent switching fragments attention. Repeated rebuilding becomes the new normal. You will notice this in your own day. The moment you check your phone, the next 5 minutes feel depleted. That explains the mechanics. Now add the environment. Digital platforms are not neutral. They are engineered to capture and hold fragments of attention. Notifications, autoplay, endlessly loading feeds, and algorithmic recommendations all introduce novelty. And novelty is a strong signal for the brain. From an evolutionary perspective, new information could mean food, danger, or opportunity. The nervous system pays attention to it automatically. The result is a short curiosity spike. Maybe I should check. When you check, the platform often gives a quick and unpredictable reward. A message, a surprising image, a small social signal. Psychologists describe this as a variable reward system. The unpredictability makes the behavior especially compelling. Sometimes nothing happens. Sometimes something interesting appears. That pattern trains the brain to expect short, variable loops rather than long, steady ones. Nicholas Carr, in his book The Shallows, argued that constant switching makes the mind better at scanning and worse at sustained concentration. He is not saying the internet makes people dumb. Rather, he shows that our habits of reading and thought are reshaped by repeated exposure to rapidly changing streams of information. In practice, this means slow tasks begin to feel uncomfortable. You read 2 pages and get restless, not because the text is bad, but because your nervous system has learned to prefer faster stimulation. The final piece is adaptation. Concentration is a skill. Like any skill, it strengthens with practice and weakens without it. Cal Newport, a computer scientist who studies focus and deep work, emphasizes this point. If you spend most of your time in fragmented attention, your brain becomes very good at fragmentation. It is not a moral failure. It is learning. The brain optimizes for the environment it experiences most. Over weeks and months, this creates a new baseline. Tasks that once felt natural now require effort. You do not suddenly have less intelligence. You have a different attentional habit. That habit changes how effort feels. Slow, linear work begins to register as unpleasant because it does not match the fast rhythm your brain expects. So how will you know this is happening to you? Watch for 3 signs: frequent microchecks, looking at the phone or tabs every few minutes, loss of the mental thread. You return to a page and cannot recall the last idea, and rising discomfort with slow tasks, the feeling that reading or deep thinking is heavy. Those are the behavioral markers of a system tuned to short loops. Why does this become a problem? Because many meaningful activities require sustained attention. Complex work, learning, careful reading, and thoughtful writing all demand a stable loop. When attention fragments, those activities lengthen in time, become more tiring, and produce lower quality outcomes. Over months, fragmented attention can erode the capacity to engage deeply at work or to enjoy long-form reading. It does not destroy competence, but it reshapes what competence looks like. Naming the mechanism matters because it changes how you respond. If you assume the failure is willpower, you will try to grit through it and then blame yourself when you slip. If you understand that the environment has trained your attention, you can change the conditions or the practice. That is a practical difference, not a moral one. To be clear, this is not an argument to abandon digital life. It is an argument to recognize that attention adapts. The first step is noticing the pattern in the moment. When the phone vibrates, pause for a second and ask, am I checking out of curiosity or habit? When the sentence slips away, name it. The thread was broken. Simple recognition interrupts the automatic rebuild. Over time, that tiny interruption can allow longer loops to reform. So the next time you sit down to read and your focus breaks after a few minutes, remember this: your brain has not failed you. It has adapted to a different environment. The experience feels personal because it touches identity. You once were the kind of person who could sustain attention easily. That memory is real, and it can be rebuilt, but only if you understand the mechanism and create the conditions for longer loops. Thank you for watching Mini Mind Hack. If this explanation helped you see your own pattern more clearly, share it in the comments. Other viewers often recognize the same moments. If you want more evidence-based examinations of how modern life shapes mind and identity, consider subscribing. I will see you in the next video.